Can we go back, back to where we? Can we go back, back to where we started off?
Hello, everybody. Sorry about that. The Wi-Fi connection was completely off and not working. It's usually what happens when you're driving and on the go. So I'm gonna do a quick recap. Let's see if I can get Chevy on here. Bear with me because the Wi-Fi isn't working. So, this is episode 58 of Pure Sessions, and I'm Lana. Hello. My escapades of traveling on the go doing these podcasts usually end with either some technical difficulty or internet not working or something. But this title is episode Empowering Others in Your Recovery. I shortened the title because it's kind of more than just episodes on Spotify, Apple, Anchor, SoundCloud, YouTube, Apple, and Instagram, and YouTube for the live, and for the audio with SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple. Once a week, you can hear me talk about different things. I have musicians on, artists, graphic designers, really any walks of life can come on the show and kind of just speak on what they do and what they love. And I'll recap at the end what we missed. So I see Chevy is here. So hopefully the connection stays. So let's try it again. Hopefully it works. Hopefully it works. This is a good conversation that we were having so far. Okay.
Are we good?
I think we're good. Sister was lost. I don't even understand what happened. This is usually why I do the podcast at home, not traveling or anything. Anyway, okay. So
we're going to make it work. We are going to make it work.
So I think it cut off. I don't know if you remember where you left off. I think it cut off in the middle of you explaining.
I did.
Where you left off? Because I can do the recap later.
No, it's okay. I was sharing that, in my history of the abuse. So I am a survivor.
Yes.
For those of you who don't know. And I have experienced physical, mental, verbal, and emotional abuse. So I've survived it all. And what I had to learn within myself was that because I was in that relationship for so long and it, happened multiple times in my life through different, forms of abuse, that now in trying to understand who I am, that I have adapted some of those abusive ways. So I decided to, join counseling, do a lot of self-reflection, do a lot of affirmations, just to rewire my brain and definitely work on changing who I was and revealing a healthier version of myself, because it becomes your lifestyle.
Right.
Even how he spoke to me or what transpired or, how I communicated with him. So now here I am, and I don't want to be that version anymore. Right. So you remove yourself from this situation and you start what is called survivor healing, and in that I really understood, someone said to me, you know what, I hear you. And it sounds like you're just like him. And I'm just like, I was so taken away because I didn't realize the little things that I say, I have now become my abuser in how I speak. Right. So I have to be mindful of that because I never want to do that to anyone. And just really do a lot of, self-reflection and just say, wow, Chev, that's something you got to work on. That tone was cute before because you found your match with dysfunction. But now in a healthy lifestyle, that's not cute. So you got to get rid of it. Definitely. So, yeah.
So have you found in the beginning of your relationship with Boo, as I call him, I know his name, but I call him Boo, did you find transitioning from that relationship to this relationship tricky, or was it a gap from the previous relationship and this relationship? The mindset going in.
So the mindset, definitely, it took more time to heal.
Right.
Once I don't like to make it relationship based because I think the work began with me. And where the work started was I was still in the same home as my ex. So, but it was so dysfunctional in our home. Jesus have mercy. Oh, it was so dysfunctional. We didn't communicate
at all.
So he's hurt me to the core. And I have taken that core to not sit in it. I decided, because I knew I was better, to really do whatever it took to change and whatever it took to make me a better me.
Right.
So when I, picked up, left, moved to Florida, and I'm like on this path of like this healthy version of myself, here comes Prince Charming, seeing this version of me that I didn't believe within myself. And it took for me to, like, at first I was like, oh no, this is like, what do you want from me? This is not going to work. But I had to borrow his lens. And sometimes in life, the way you see yourself is not clear. And it takes for you to borrow the lens of someone else. Yes. Look through that and see that version. And the version of me, I never understood. I was just like, how could I saw broken? I saw broken both. Because here I am with 3 kids and like not even knowing how I can start over. But he saw more than that. And, I appreciate the fact that I was able to borrow his lens to say, okay, I knew I had to do the work, but I didn't know the version of me that he saw. I didn't even understand it until I borrowed his lens. And then I was like, oh, okay, I like her too. Yeah, I believe she's in me. So it just really, it bursted, it was a part of my growth and a part of my change and a part of it because I was able to see that someone does believe in me. And he was patient. And he waited for my repair time. And I appreciate it. Yeah. But I know that it took time apart. I didn't just dive in.
Right.
I definitely needed to love me. I needed to understand me. I needed to be patient with me. So everything that he can offer me, I had to give it to myself first so I can now be the healthy, great, good girlfriend for him.
The great you. And how long have you guys been together? I know you told me.
I'm not ready to share my business to the world, girl.
We'll keep that on the detail. That's okay.
He's my lifetime partner, and I put it that way. So I'm very, very happy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Believe it as that. I like that. I like that phrasing.
Yeah.
I think you told me this. I think I've asked it before. So how is it when your lovely kids want to see the dad? How does that dynamic go? Do they see him, or is it not? If that's too personal, it's okay. We don't talk about it. I'm like getting like Oprah now, but no. I'm just trying.
I'm going to put a twist to your question because whatever you ask me, I think it's important to say.
Okay.
When you're in a relationship or a marriage and your partner is the abuser, it's not like a normal relationship. Like here I am and I'm dating and I'm like, you know what? I'm tired of him. I'm going to break up with him. When you leave that relationship not because you're tired of your partner or not because, I had enough. You leave them because you're tired of the abuse.
Of course.
But your heart and everything else that's connected and separate, that takes time to fall off. Mm-hmm. That takes time to let go of. And when you have children, they have to have their time to also process that and go through that same cycle and that same phase. Right. So you don't leave in hating your abuser. You hate what they have done to you. And then you do the work with, okay, now I got to fall out of love with him because he's not going to change. If I stay, he'll continue to hit me. If I stay, he'll continue to talk down to me. If I stay, he'll continue to financially, physically, mentally, emotionally abuse me. And I know I'm better than that. I know I'm worth that. So it's like choosing your worth, choosing what's best for you over what your heart truly desires, So you have to kill that version. That is so difficult. Yeah. And then not only that, because I know for me, life was set. Once I've conceived and I know I'm having my children and I'm pregnant, that was who I was going to spend the rest of my life with. I can tell you how we would look with gray hair, what we were going to do. From you conceive, you're like, you have life all planned out. So now this big eruption comes in your life and it's like, what do I do?
Right.
What do I do?
Yeah.
And you have to reconstruct everything that you totally mapped out and dreamed from your child was inside of you. It's a difficult journey to go through, but not impossible. So with that, everybody has a different abuser. Now, I don't want to get into details because I'm not here to bash him. I pray for him and I wish the best for him. But when it comes to my kids, I don't play. And I'm very big on their peace and I'm very big on protecting them. And I feel like most people who hurt people hurt people. So if you don't deal with that hurt, then you're not producing anything that's meaningful or good enough or positive for my children. And because of that, you keep pulling them back to the abuse, back to the pain, back to that. And then it has to be you as the mom to make that decision, because now I can see clearly and I can understand and I can identify and I can say, no, this is not going to work. So, you know, the inconsistency has torn my children a lot. And I think because hurt people, I can no longer allow that. So I will leave it at that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I pray for him. I pray for him. And so do they. And they love him dearly. But we pray that one day he'll understand and identify with his hurt and want to do the work so that he can be a consistent father, not inconsistent. So, yeah.
Look at you dropping the gems. No, let me stop.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? I feel like I've asked these questions, but just for this purpose, I'm going to ask them again. So your journey with your podcast, which I'm still waiting on for episodes. I keep scrolling and I'm like, where are they? But I understand.
I have a new one.
But like, where? Am I missing it? Where are you on outside of?
So I am on Apple Podcasts. I am on Spotify.
Okay.
I am on Google Podcasts. I am on iHeartRadio. Like, the link is in my bio. I have a new episode that I dropped October 8th.
Okay, I must not be connected then, because I'm like, I'm missing them. Like, where are they? I know you don't.
Yes. So I did take a very long-term break, and hence to why my episode is called Total Health. Okay. And it just kind of elaborates why I had to take a long-term break with health, with financial, with emotional. It was just so much things going on, but that is a great episode. And I'm so happy to have my guest co-host, Leslie Gillens of Gillens Financial, because she helped get certain financial things intact. It's such an informative episode. So that was like my my celebration episode that I came out with when we made 1 year, October 3rd. So that episode came out, and it just shares a lot of informative things that I think we all need to hear just to get our total health intact. Yeah. So, yeah.
I agree. So in your episodes, how long are your episodes? Because I know mine's are like hours. I know yours are not that long.
It depends. It all depends on the topic. There's like no limit. We go with the flow. Okay. If the spirit leads, we let it lead.
Now, are you having more guests on?
I will. Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm curious because I'm also too trying to have more guests on, and as you know in the beginning, I wasn't having anybody on because it was still new. But so far, the guests I've had, I love doing, and it helps with my public speaking. So I think that's pretty cool versus me just talking to a camera all day, every day. So for this month, what have you been doing? I know, but what have you been doing for Domestic Violence Month and or breast cancer awareness, or have you more been focusing on domestic violence?
No, I'm all about bringing awareness. Any type of awareness, I'm here for it. Okay. So for breast cancer awareness, we do Paint the Pumpkin Pink. Where I do that because awareness is just not educating adults. I am very big on teaching my kids everything that I believe in, everything that I support. So we do Paint the Pumpkin Pink. And normally I will spread the word on Instagram and have it like that. But like I said, this has been a very challenging month for me just with personal motherhood. So I haven't really been into social media. I've been doing a big social media fast so that I can get my balance back.
Yeah.
So I have that. And then tomorrow is Purple Thursday. So I'm asking everyone to wear purple and tag in War Purple, WORE Purple. Okay, hashtag and tag Woman of Reflection in so I can see that you're joining, bringing awareness, showing survivors that you love and support them. And the color signifies that you vow to bring awareness. So I will appreciate whoever's listening, whoever's tuning in, that they do that as well. Another thing that I normally have a purple party every year. And it's so fun. Where we do purple cupcakes, everything purple.
Everything purple.
So I have that campaign going on. And then this is DV campaign, the PSA that we're going to do via videos where you share your story and give examples of different forms of domestic violence, whether it's verbal, mental, physical, emotional abuse. Yeah. Okay. So that's what I have going on for this month for both breast cancer and domestic violence awareness.
Oh, that's good. So what else do you have going on? I feel like every time I talk to you, it's like 4 other things going on. Or is it just when things happen? Staying busy though, which is good.
I am super busy. But like I said, lately it's been more motherhood. It's been more getting my children intact. Like I have a lot of things planned. That's coming up. I'm also gonna be on a series series called Table of Truth with my 2 wonderful sisterhoods, Kim and Erica, from Give a Sister a Hug and Beat the Purpose Quality Day Foundation, and we're gonna just talk about true life topics. And that's gonna be via Instagram starting November 12th, I believe, every Friday. So in November. But the first Friday will be November 12th. So I want everyone to tune in for that.
Yes. Definitely tune in for that. That sounds really fun. Yeah.
So that's basically it. Right now, we're going to focus on how to remain empowered in recovery. I just let's give advice. Let's give a scenario and then we could work on from that. Do you have one?
For me,
or ask a question, because I am a survivor. I'm willing to, hear it first.
You know, I have questions. I don't want to ask like a million, because in my video, I mostly talked about the verbal abuse, not like to like severity, like high level, but you know, in my relationship, the few I've had, the most consistent words or phrases I've heard was, you can't do better without me. You're overweight, or you're too quiet, you're no fun, things like that. And I was all those things. I'm not a person who's like, oh my God, like when I was younger. Now I'm kind of cracking out of that shell. But and for me, when I hear those words, not just relationships, but just in general, I don't know how to react to it. So I have to shut down. I don't really like go back and forth, or I don't have like a rebuttal. But as I've gotten older, essentially, I kind of just, it sounds cliche, but I kind of just feel like, okay, like I don't know what to say to that, because like that's your opinion, how you feel or how you see me. It's not like I don't see myself that way anymore. You know what I mean? Like for a while I would see myself that way, because I guess in my spirit it wasn't whole yet. So whatever I was being told, I thought this was the way to be. But now, as I've gotten older and life's happening, etc., I'm like, I don't see myself that way. If you still see me that way, that's you, but that's not going to like ruin my parade. You know what I mean? So it took me a long time to get there from how I was. And it sucks, because I wish then I had a voice that I had now, because a lot of things and decisions I made and stuff I did would have probably not happened the way it did if I didn't have that purring voices, in my head. And like I said, I'm not a person who likes confrontation. So I'm like, I'm just going to sit here and be quiet. And I guess that gave them the power to think that, okay, what I'm saying is working. They're not saying anything back. They're not, trying to butt heads and things like that. But I just didn't know what to say, because I'm like, you're backing me into a corner. I'm just going to be quiet. And it's just like, it was a struggle for like the longest, because I always felt like I never had a voice to say anything that was either worth being heard or important. And I have noticed that has shaped a lot of my relationships, or better yet, to rephrase that, how I go about finding a relationship, the type of men, the way I go about it, and things like that. And it has made me jaded. I'm very jaded, but for good reasons, not just because I'm just angry, but just for reasons. But I don't know, just a lot of things, if it went down differently, probably would have ended up differently, if that makes sense. Just how I am and how I'm looking back on things. Relationships, friendships, choices. You know, if you're being told something for so long, over and over and over again, then you start to believe it because nobody else is there to say, oh, that's not true, or don't listen to them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, nobody, like they say they have your back or they understand, but they really don't, because when it comes down to like the wire, they're like MIA. And I'm always a giver, so I'm like, oh, if I see somebody being abused, I'm like, don't do that. That's not, you know, whatever. But I've noticed it's never been reciprocated, even to, because people kind of weird, you know, funny. They move funny. That's really.
So I want to take it back a little bit. You started with, you know, they said I was overweight. He said that I was too quiet, and I was all those things. That's what you said. When you said that, did you really believe that you were those things, or you identified with that before it was said to you, or that took place after?
Both? Does that count? It's more so both, depending on the situation. It's more so both.
So, because I believe that everything that is said to you, it bursts an emotion within inside of you. You know what I'm saying? So it awakens it. So here you are saying that I am what? I'm too quiet. If that was something that you felt before, that emotion is now alive because someone else has identified it. And because they have identified it, they now bring that. It's like highlighting your issues, you know? It makes it bright. It pops now. Yeah. And now that you know that everybody can see something that you already have inside of you, it makes it a part of your insecurity. Mm-hmm. And it makes it a part of your weakness. And then it makes you feel worthless. And I think that's our struggle, you know? That's why I'm so big, and I have like our Warrior Wednesdays, because I think as women, we have to really build a firm core foundation. Right. And I believe that. I think that it starts from when we're young. Mm-hmm. As you said, a lot of the things that were said to you were from your previous relationship when you were more younger. You now don't believe that because you have done the work to like rephrase and to challenge and say, listen, I don't care. But if we start from we're young and we can say affirmations of love, I am beautiful, I am powerful, I am smart. We speak it into ourselves. When we do all of that, then that becomes who we are. It's a part of that core foundation. Mm-hmm. And no one can change that. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Prior to me, you know, experience domestic violence and being abused, I was the girl that said that could never happen to me. I would watch these movies and I was that girl with that attitude, like he could never do that to me. That could never happen to me. He could never say that to me. And I was so tiny. I was 0 in like high school, extra tiny. They used to call me Olive from Popeyes. Popeye the Seller Man, like an Olive running around. And I was strong-minded. And it wasn't because I was, you know, someone like, you know, gassed me up. But I remember that I was in a family where love was in my heart. Love was taught to me. I'm from a Christian home, so you only know the spirit of love, you know? And so I had not only love, but that firm confidence. And I lost that when I experienced abuse. When someone put their hands on me enough to take my voice in that moment, that could never happen to me, hit right back to, oh my gosh, this is me. This is happening. Right. And that snatched everything that I ever believed in, that I became in that moment. I'm not that anymore. I'm this girl who said that she wasn't that. Oh yeah, that did happen to me. And now that became my story. And I think that as a survivor, that is the hardest thing to swallow. Having to seriously, live with your decision and live with this big regret. Right. I regret that this is now my story. You know, I regret that this is now my pain. I regret that this is now something I have to share. When I said that could never be me,
Right.
I have to own it. I have to be it. I have to live it. I have to look in the mirror and see it. You know, I don't see this. That could never be me, girl, with the attitude, snapping fingers. No. That's not what I saw. I saw, you know, the abuse. I saw the fact that when he like did this, I'm like this. Why? You know, my voice was taken. So it was hard for me to kill that version. It was hard. It took time. It took work.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's important that, you know, in my journey of healing, I had to create what my new core foundation, you know, is. It's not the worthless Chevy. It's not the fact that, oh my gosh, I'm too afraid to speak because he told me I sound stupid. He told me I wasn't educated enough. And those are the things I believed for 10 years. Like, I believed it. But guess what? When you kill it, you birth something new. Yeah. And you just keep going. I will never, ever be that version of me. And I had to really know that it's okay that I'm able to alter and fix that regret that I had. You know, own it. Yeah. It's a part of me, guys. But guess what? It happened, but it doesn't live on. It's dead. It's killed. It's gone. And now I'm able to tell my story and encourage others. It's so important. Yeah.
And you don't really know people go through these things because they're like,
oh no,
leaves, but like, who want to talk about it, who doesn't want to talk about it, unless you're like, hey, how are you doing? What's going on with you? And they just say, oh yeah, I'm fine. But no, really, what's going on? How are you doing? Like getting past that surface, how you doing, and getting really to the core of how you doing. You don't know. And it's sad that a lot of women are dealing with that, silenced.
Yeah.
But I just feel like when the kids are involved or our kids are involved, it's just, to me, a little bit more heartbreaking because it's like, this is what they're growing up with or around. This is what they're seeing. This is what they think is okay or tolerable because, you know, mommy's not stopping it or dad's not stopping it. It's just really it's really sad because that does leave an impact on the kids, whether it's shown early or shown later. Not on your kids, I'm not saying you, but just in general. It's just the kids are always kind of like so impressionable, even, you know, as they're growing up. So I just always, and I'm like you too. I'm like, oh yeah, that would never be me. That's not me. I would watch like Tyler Perry movies or Meet the Browns, something like that, and it'd be like, why is she doing that? Why is she letting him doing that? Why can't she say anything? Blah 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 blah. And it took me a while to realize that I'm judging them just because this is what I wouldn't do. But like you said, until you're in a situation, not that you want to be, but until you get put in a situation, then you really can really say something because you're like, you're in it. Now what do? You can choose to whatever or not, but talking about it as if it could never happen, it's like a phenomenon, it's just TV, it's kind of dead because unfortunately it's happening all the time. Yeah, like it or not. So I'm happy that you got to the point in your life, whether it's now, years ago, whenever, that you're this whole new flower and just happy and blooming of joy, because it takes a lot to be pulled up and becoming, you know, who you were, because that was 10 years of your life that didn't even really happen, that was taken from you unnecessarily, and your kids had that unnecessarily. And for me, knowing how I am, I wouldn't know what to do coming out of that, like where to go, who to talk to, how to like reshape my whole future. Yeah. Because then I would be like, the guy I talk to is just like, no, don't talk to me. I don't trust anybody. And then that's another cycle too. You just will never feel safe because you feel like everybody is the same, you know, in that sense. Yeah. So I want to just pin a pin right there in that point right there about suffering in silence. I think it's important, and my encouragement to anyone tuning in who is suffering in silence in this moment, I've been there. I am the girl who went to work every day and I cried in that bathroom. Many times I went to work and I will sit in the classroom because I work, you know, in the school, and I will cry and not even know that some of my coworkers heard me. They noticed and they never said anything. Some people never notice. I always got a compliment. Oh, you look so beautiful. Only if they knew I just touched up my makeup in the car or I touched it up in the bathroom. I was that girl. And I had to understand that
in what I was going through, it was the hardest thing to accept that I'm living a life that I told myself I will never be that girl. That will never be me.
Right.
And like I said, each child, you dream of like this future with their dad and you know, so it was hard to really accept what my reality was.
Mm-hmm.
And in that, I had to understand not to judge her, but to love her. Whatever version you are, love her. Because when it comes to correction, it comes with the severe consequence. And even though you have to take that severe consequence road, you're not on that happy, you know, the road that you plan for your life. You're not on that happy, beautiful sunshine where, you know, life is so perfect. I'm on that severe consequence road right now. But it comes with correction. And you have to understand that, is life worth it enough to actually deal with the pain that you're or leave and have a little bit of pain to repair? You know, that's the balance. That's what you have to ask yourself that question. So when you are, and if you are someone out there suffering in silence, I want you to do that self-reflection. Is what I'm in right now enough pain for me to stay in, or is leaving that pain to pick up the pieces and repair myself? Which pain is worth it? Because we're going to have to face it anyways. But the road of correction can always have severe consequence.
Yeah.
But you have to choose which direction you're willing to go.
That's true.
And I choose that. I wanted that road of correction.
Yeah.
Because I knew that life was better. I knew that I deserved better. And even though I didn't have a plan because I didn't really have time, I just got to a point where enough was enough. You know, I knew that I shouldn't be spoken to that way. I shouldn't be treated that way. I loved wholeheartedly, but love was not given back to me that way. Hurt people. And I didn't want to hurt. I wasn't here to hurt. So when I felt it and I received it, I didn't even understand. I just kept reflecting and asking myself, what's wrong with me? I go to work or I'm on the street and you be like, hey, yo, cutie. And I'm like, who, me? Because I go home and my husband he's not even into me. You know, he doesn't feel that way about me. So it was hard to believe. You know, I get compliments and what people were saying about me. I didn't see that. I didn't identify with that. Because hurt people. But in the same breath, I never went home and I didn't hurt him. I loved him because I thought, wow, he would, you know, want to change that and show me love back. I think we have a question. What would be your number one advice step to leaving a domestic violence situation? Okay. My number one advice to leaving a domestic violence situation is there's never going to be the right time to leave. The right time starts with you. And it's important that you don't think that you like mapping out this whole plan. I'm going to do it this way at 9 a.m. on 225. Some days that might not work. The right time begins with you. And I remember when I used to go through and I'm just like, I'm so done with him. And my mother or my sister would say to me, you'll know when you had enough. And I was just like, how could they say that to me? I just said I was done with him. I never understood that until I was done. I loved myself enough to want to live and be that better version of me. So I would like to give anyone out there, the number one advice is just leave. If you know that it's not right and there are signs to know that, I'll feel free to DM me. I will help walk you through. If you're questioning if this is a domestic violence situation, feel free to DM me. I will help and walk you through and identify those signs with you. And if that's that, know that there's no right time. There's no map to say, all right, guys, I'm going to wait until 2023. I'm going to wait until November or tax season, because I've heard that too. I'll wait till tax season so I have enough money and I have to leave. If it's happening today, there are so many resources out there that can help guide you, protect you, and to really keep you safe. But I left with 15 cents in my account and I have a smile on my face and peace in my heart. That's all.
Great. But
living witness.
When you say there's no right time to just leave, there's no right time, just leave. Can you say that for every situation? Because every situation is different. Like, it may not be, not that yours was simple, but like
Hmm.
it could be, they could be getting abused all four ways: mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and verbally, sexually. It was more than four, and it's like a dangerous situation. Now you say, when you say there's no right time just to leave, could you give that same advice to somebody who's being like sexually abused and like they're fearing for their life 24/7? And like you say, just leave, just go, don't pack anything, don't think about it, just bounce. But then they have to worry about over their shoulder if the guy is following them and all this other stuff. Like, is it the same? Like, are there different, what is it I'm trying to say? Is there different levels of how to go about leaving depending on the situation, or does it really just depend on how strong you are as that person when it gets to that?
I think every situation is different,
Yeah.
but everybody has to understand what I said first, okay?
Right.
And that's with when you are leaving your abuser, you're not leaving because you're not in love with them anymore. You want the abuse to stop.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever level or whatever form of abuse it is, you want it to stop.
Right.
So in order for you to make that step, do not tell yourself, I'm going to wait to the right time. The ending process starts with here. Then eventually it will come here. And then eventually it has to be the action.
Mm.
You can no longer consume it in your mind and your heart to say, this is something I need to do.
Right.
The right time starts with you.
Okay.
And I just feel like it doesn't matter what level or how severe the abuse is, you'll know when the right time is because your heart and your mind will tell you, just go and listen to that voice. Go. Yeah.
Okay. Because I always was curious about that when I hear people say, it took me 10 years to leave the person. Good. And people are saying, you can just get up and leave. And then they don't really know
No.
what is it? What happened behind closed doors or the level it took, to get to that point. So
Yeah.
I do respect that when females get to that point and things like that. And I just, it's for me, it's not a tricky subject. It's just, I never know how to go about it because we don't have these conversations. Because like I said, nobody wants to have these conversations. It's uncomfortable. But
Mm-hmm.
I think they're good to have. Like you said, people who are out there who are either dealing with it or kind of feeling signs of it or, not sure. I think it's good to have these tips and advices and somebody speaking from experience that it can't happen.
Yeah.
It seemed like it during time, but, it can't happen. So I think that's a great thing.
I mean, it says that 7 out of 10 women go back. And some women go back more than 10 times. I am one. I went back multiple times before I actually left for good.
Wow.
Because like I said, that your heart can lead you the wrong way, girl. And that I think was the hardest part. I truly was so in love and I didn't want to let that dream that I had in my head of my future die down. So it was difficult. It's not an easy road. And just because you go back, that doesn't mean that you're not strong enough or capable. It's just not your time. You weren't ready enough, So I think that it just has to start in order for it to be something that you can successfully do and do it strong and like put your foot down. This and this it have to connect. You have to say, I had enough.
Yeah.
And really know within your heart that, you know what, that's it. Someone said, I think embarrassment and shame plays a role as well. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
It did. And it does. And a lack of support as well. A lot of people don't have. I lost a lot of friendships, a lot of like family members just because I felt like no one understood me.
Right.
I even came off of social media for years because I was just like, why am I going to post and pretend like things is great? I'm very big about being my true, authentic self. And my life was not something that should be on social media. I didn't want to fake the smile. I did it enough at work and I did it for my children, but to do it for the world was enough.
Yeah.
So it was hard. Yeah. We're always thinking of what others think. So that could definitely make someone stay to not damage the beautiful image of their relationship. That is very true. That is very true. But I think it's important that, with violence, you put you first. And if we allow whatever the world thinks about us, we'll stay right there.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're doing it for the like of others and not just really, why would we spend life that way? I'm like, it's important that we got to put ourselves first. You know what I'm saying? Forget what you think of me. I love me. So I'm going to do what's best and what's right for me.
Exactly. You have to at the end of the day. That's what's more important. It's healthy thinking and living, and you just become, I don't know, just a better person all around when you're authentic. And I agree with not when you're feeling a certain way or things aren't going right. Because people can tell when you're just like posting just for Instagram or whatever platform you're on. I think it should be more, not that they should see your struggles all the time, but just the real you, that you are human and you do go through things. It's not just polished and couture and bodycon. You're an actual person, actually human, dealing with, you know, daily things everybody does. Not everybody wants to post that side of them because they feel that with likes and them posts and things like that.
So, talking about the road of recovery and how to remain empowered, I want to shift it a little bit. I want to talk about children because I'm a mom, and how to keep your children empowered in this phase of life. Because it's a very big transition. And I mean, I'm still learning how to keep my children empowered during that. But I remember when we, got settled and now here is our new norm. What my children struggle with most is seeing parents and seeing, fathers with their kids and him not physically being here to be that for them. But they understood the importance of safety. And, just because he's not here doesn't mean you can't love him from a distance, but it's in order for us to be safe. This is what it is. But a lot of the things that they witnessed and a lot of the things that transpired in front of them, they have now consumed. So it goes back to you talking about your worth and like the things that, your ex said to you about, you being too quiet. So now for children, it's seeing that mommy's nose was broken and her eyes was, broken. And then the fact that he shouted at mom and he cursed at mom and all these things they experience. It is important as their parent, as, their, models to really change that. Now, once you're in your healthy phase, don't just think that it's all about you. You have to do the road of recovery for your children as well. And my way of doing that, I do have a positive wall. I shared that on my page as well. And what we did was I wanted my kids to identify core values of who they are, because I didn't want them to understand that just because our life has shifted, that this is the road that we have to stay on. Whatever you desire, whatever you dream of, it can be. So instead of doing like a vision board with them, I told them to tell me 10 things that they think can create the best life. What are 10 things? And we all drew it on the paper. Like, if you can draw what your life can look like to be the best life, let's do it. So we had crayons, we had markers, and we did like a beautiful visual. I should have brought the paper. Well, they would kill me if I share it with you guys. So no, I won't embarrass them. But I did like what I considered. And it was funny because I had like ribs and mashed potatoes in my perfect life. Like, I love some ribs, love some mashed potatoes. And then they had like a house with a dog. And like, I wanted them to understand that no matter what transpired in our life, we can still have that best life. And that was one of my ways to empower in their road of recovery. And also we had the positive wall where every day at dinner, we have sticky notes where we, my board, right? That I've done with them.
I think you showed me.
Okay, good. Yeah. So we have the positive world where we like put on things. So I'm a warrior. I am strong. I am smart. So when people say, Carter, explain, or Manny or Cassidy, tell me one great thing about yourself, it won't be I had to leave New York because this happened, or I had to leave this state because this happened. It will be I am smart. I am brave. I'm a warrior, because what transpired does not define who you are. And it's important that we as adults rewire that, for our children. We have to. So I wanted to give that gem. For any mothers out there that's really not understanding, and it's a difficult journey. And like I said, we really need more support in that area. How do we save our children, especially our boys, especially our girls? Because some people just concentrate like, oh, Jesus, your boy's seen it now. So now they're going to be, but so what? My daughter too. My daughter's seen it now. And now she can only identify that the boys that she chooses in her life, that's what she'll identify with if we don't correct her vision too. Yeah. It's all about changing the lens of life.
Yeah, and from what I can hear and tell when I hear them or see them, they look like they're just beautiful young little gems.
Oh, thank you.
But yeah, no, I appreciate that. Knowing that, I mean, I don't have children, but I do feel that that is a core factor in the whole healing process as well, too. Especially when they're in that age where they're still kind of like, they know what's going on, but don't, but do at the same time and act. So I definitely do agree with that. Yeah. Yeah.
Good. And for my survivors of breast cancer, just staying strong. I think what it is that when you are dealing with something like cancer, you have to really, it's hard for you to kind of express where your need of support is. Yeah. You feel like I am suffering this. I am going through this. So in that journey, I'm going to just deal with it on my own. I'll figure it all by myself, but it's okay. It's okay to identify things and share with your loved ones and tell your loved ones how they can be a support of you. Because in that, we also want to respect that you may want to heal, you may want to go through by yourself, but don't feel that you have to.
Yeah.
Allow your family to support you the best way you believe that they can. And that's your way to stay uplifted and empowered. You agree?
I agree.
Yeah.
I know my friend who I've known for like 10 years, his mom passed of breast cancer a couple of years ago. So I know, I mean, him and his sister mentally prepared, but you still aren't. You are, but you aren't. So his whole thing, even before she was diagnosed, is he's big on helping different organizations, kids with disabilities, and he's big on breast cancer and giving back and things like that. So I know he did start a foundation to help women survivors of breast cancer and things like that.
Okay.
For me, for him, when he's telling me things, I didn't know that it affects, what did he say? I think it affects women of a certain age more frequently than you know. I forgot the age he said, but I know it's like a high age number. And you don't really think about that because you're like you said, you don't think that could happen to you because he didn't think his family would be hit with that huge thing. But I think it also comes down to being knowledgeable of what's happening, paying attention to the signs of your body. If something creaks or tweaks or whatever, go see the doctor. And I hate the hospital. I hate the doctor. So I'm never there, but it's good to pay attention to the signs to keep your body healthy and safe. It may save you in the long run, but I feel like when we have the knowledge and support system and the right information, I think that's also a key factor as well too.
Yeah.
In the long run or during the process.
I think the support system definitely.
Yeah.
On both ends for domestic violence and for, breast cancer. I think support is a very, very big impact.
Yeah.
Because in that you run empty, you run low, you run short. There are some days where you can't even find strength. So it's important that you have that community of loved ones around you to restore and refill you during those times.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I tried to do my best with reaching out and helping organizations and doing the walks and the things like that. But I feel like if more of us can do it, more of us are having these conversations, I think it will help,
definitely bring awareness.
Yeah. Especially having these conversations that are not the normal conversation to have on a Wednesday night, but that need to be had so other people can feel like they're not alone in this journey, whether it's violence or Breast Cancer Awareness Month, or really any topic really that they feel like nobody is listening to them as well too. That's just what sense. But yeah.
Yes.
But yeah.
I was reading the comments. It's important that we bring awareness. I think what it is like for years it was something that wasn't really talked about, especially with breast cancer. I remember my mom, she had, her best friend, and both breasts gone. But she always was a warrior to me because it didn't stop her. She was a beautiful dancer, a great singer. And she always just inspired me that no matter what happened, even whatever was removed from her, as far as her physical appearance, I believe God poured into her and gave her so much more, so it didn't make her less of a woman because I had two and she had none. She was strong, and like her support with, her church family and everybody being around her, I think it played a big effect in just building that in her, so salute to all my survivors out there. Like, I love you guys. And you inspire me. Shoot, you inspire me, and I'm a survivor. So yes, you inspire me.
Oh my gosh. So glad we were able to have our part 2 of the Chevy and Lana show, as I call it. No, but this was really, really great, especially during this month. I like doing I mean, we should have these more often in the months, but I like when we're doing these and giving awareness and stuff. And in the description, when I post and tag you in it, I'll have different websites for domestic violence hotlines and breast cancer awareness, like websites and things and stuff like that as well. And I'm all about empowerment. So yes, join Warrior Wednesdays. Every other Wednesday. So our next Warrior Wednesday, had to cancel the one for this month, our last one, but November 4th. It's a community for us to grow, to build, to really, focus on our core foundations and like to understand who we are, because we don't spend enough time with ourselves. We just get up and go. So Warrior Wednesdays is about giving that love back to yourself, identifying how to do that. So if anybody's out there, just DM me for the Zoom. Click on the link in my bio to register. It's a free virtual Zoom event, guys. And I'm here to always inspire and, unite all women to know that they're warriors, because we are. We have you to remind us every other week too as well. No, but But I appreciate this. Oh, I didn't know. You should have told me. I took some of your time. I'm sorry. I know your thing started already. But
No. You're fine. You are fine, girl. I like to go with the flow with you. Any more questions?
I know. So I know Lavinia asked already, what advice would you give somebody to leave DV situation? But what advice for you, or would you give in your experience for somebody who, kind of knows the signs, or maybe seeing the signs or things like that, but they aren't quite sure because in their mind they're thinking, oh, he'll never do anything, or he'll never get past this small level. And I know that's like a weird question, but like I know people who do.
It's not weird.
That this is it. This is all there is. Oh, I can handle it. It's just words, or oh, it's just one hit, or maybe it was by accident. The ones who give excuses for the actions and things like that.
So my advice to that is, I've been there. Many occasions I kept saying that it wasn't big enough for me to leave, Another thing is because, like I said, I envisioned my life with him forever. So I wasn't willing to let go of that envision and that dream. Plus I have children. So no, this has to work. But in my reflection, I needed to know if I loved him more or I loved me. And there were some days that I loved him more than I loved me. So I stayed. But when I decided to love me more than anything else, I left. And I think it really took that. I knew, because that within your heart, you get that feeling. The same butterfly that is activated when you meet a new man and it's like, ooh, he makes me feel good. You get that when it's not right. So I really had to just sit. I got tired of being tired. I got tired of crying. I got tired of making and trying to weigh the pain of a bad situation and the pain of leaving. Which one mattered to me?
Right.
I got tired of that question in my head.
Yeah.
So I would say, know that you can love you more than you love him. And loving you would be the best decision you can make. Because when you love you, you create that life. You evolve into the true, authentic version of you.
Yeah.
But if you continue to love and put him first, it just eats that version of you up. It kills it. It puts it to rest. You're giving yourself a funeral.
Right.
Just alive.
No, you're right.
Basically, you're watching yourself be dead, alive. So choose you first. Love you first.
Love you first.
Don't judge her. Love her.
Right. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
That's something like keep in my aura and keep in my space. So I dig that.
Yeah.
And a lot of females need to hear that as well.
Yes. And if y'all agree, tuning in, drop a purple heart.
I agree. I think, yeah, that was my last question. Yeah. I'm sure I'll be writing you like, oh, I have one more question. But I just wanted to do this episode with you because I know you were wanting to do or bring awareness and recovery and talk about it from a different angle, which I liked, versus just talking about like just the middle part, but the part after and then dealing with it and then building up and building you better. So I really appreciate that because now more people know. Now I know more stuff. I didn't know some of this stuff, so that's why I like to be educated on things before you put it out there. Misinformation is also not good. So, but yeah.
So I'm going to leave my gem for the night. Just because I like to always have a reflection question that I just want to leave my warriors with, like I said before, correction can always come with severe consequence, and it's scary because severe consequence can mean a lot. It can mean a loss. It can mean a lot of things that you have to leave and walk away from. It could even mean moving to a new state where you know anyone. But you have to always remember to never give up when you can get up. And if you choose you first, loving you first, nothing else can go wrong, because at the end of the day, you know that you have you and you didn't give up, and that faith, that confidence, everything else combined will fuel you to keep on moving. It will keep on pushing you to keep on going. And I promise you, you'll thank me later. You'll love who you are in that life. Never give up when you can get up.
I love it.
You got this. You're a warrior.
Yes, I love it. The gem of I love it. You always leave us with a great. I don't know where you come up with, but I'll take it.
Sermons, messages, words of encouragement that I use for myself. I love to give back to others. Like I have to. You have to. We all need it. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, this has been amazeballs as always. I need to have you on more often. But
listen, I'm here whenever you need me. It's like, okay, Lana's calling, gotta go. I'm on live. Whenever you need me, sis, I'm always here. You know that.
Thank you. And I'm definitely going to tune into your event tonight once I log on.
Okay.
And I have the Zoom link. So it's on Zoom, right? You just sign in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But I want you to get safe and get comfy. You've been in that car, girl.
I know. And the reason why I have, because my mom left me in the Container Store. So this is my life. But it's okay. I appreciate her.
Okay.
But no, I appreciate tonight was great. I'm glad for this talk and the gems and the advice as well, too. So it's very helpful.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you.
Thank you for giving me your time.
All righty.
Yes. So I hope you have a great night. And I'll see you like in 5 minutes, but still.
Yeah, no problem.
Good night.
Bye. Goodbye, warriors. Thank you for tuning in. We love you.
Oh, wait. And where can we find you before you bounce?
Oh, you can find me at Women of Reflection on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Or you can email me at warimpowerment@gmail.com. And also listen and tune into my podcast. I'm always bringing awareness. But if you want updates of everything that I'm doing, follow me on social media at Women of Reflection. Yeah.
Cool.
So.
Awesome. Yes. All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yes. Bye. Let's see. All right, so we did another great show. Apologies for that delay. It was just the Wi-Fi, the Wi-Fi, however you want to pronounce it. But as you guys heard, I'm going to go tune into Chevy's domestic violence awareness event. It is on Zoom. It's from 7 to 9. Definitely check that out. And as well as if anybody is going through any type of abuse, whether it's verbally, physical, emotional, sexual, and spiritual. A lot of people don't think about that, but your spirit can be burdened, your spirit can be hardened, your spirit can be altered. Please, please, please talk to somebody. Please, please, please know that you are not alone, and always remember that God is on your side and you will get through this, just as Chevy said. So guys, that is about it. I'm about to bounce to go on to Chevy's event. I hope you guys have a great, great Wednesday, and thank you all for tuning in. Again, this was episode 58 of Pure Sessions, and you can catch me, Lana, at Lana and Pure on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, what else? Spotify, Apple, SoundCloud, YouTube, as well as Pure Sessions on Anchor as well. And stay blessed and have a great day, and do something today that you didn't do the day before. Peace.